I recently read Hyperfocus by Chris Bailey. The average mind wanders 47% of the time. If you can get good at noticing your mind wandering and direct 100% of your attention to a single intention, your life will be richer and more enjoyable. If you can give a person 100% of your attention during a conversation and listen without thinking about what you're going to say next, that person will feel heard and loved and will likely be by your side when you need them most. If you give a project 100% of your attention and not let your mind wander to other things you could be doing, you will complete more in 1 hour than one of your peers will complete in an entire day of work. Chris Bailey says, directing your attention toward the most important object of your choosing and then sustaining that attention is the most consequential decision you will make today. When you fully direct your attention to one intention for longer than a few minutes, like completing a task or having a conversation, executing an exercise, reading a book, or watching an educational video, like this one, you will achieve the peak productive state of hyperfocus. When I try to achieve hyperfocus and get my attention to fully overlap with a single intention, I like to imagine that I'm playing an old school arcade game. I start the game by selecting an intention I want to focus on. I look for intentions that have second and third order effects. For example, focusing on writing the first draft of a book chapter that will lead to the satisfaction of writing a book in a few months, first effect, which may improve the life of someone who reads it, second effect, who then might recommend the book to a friend and help market the book through word of mouth to generate book sales for years to come, third effect. After I select an intention, I arrive at a black screen with a solid green circle in the center of the screen. That's my intention. Off to one side is a dashed circle. That's my attentional space, the limited mental space I have to process information at any one moment. This is also known as working memory. The goal of the game is to move the attention circle over the intention circle using the joystick. When the attention circle fully covers the intention circle, I start racking up points. The longer I keep my attention circle completely over my intention, the more points I rack up. The points are a lead indicator to the professional success I can expect in a few months. In other words, my ability to fully align my attention with my intention foreshadows success. But accumulating points is not easy. As soon as I maneuver my attention circle over my intention, it starts to drift away. Research shows that the average mind craves distraction every 40 seconds. In a way, the mind's like a rambunctious Labrador retriever that likes to seek out novelty and refuses to sit in one place. One can train the mind to sit in one place for long stretches of time by bringing attention back to an intention over and over until the mind settles. The rate at which you can settle down your mind will depend on 3 factors: external distractors, internal distractors, and mental stimulation. Every object in your environment that you are tempted to use is like a villain in the video game on the edge of the screen, using a rope and hook to tug your attention circle away from your intention. The mere presence of your phone or app icons in your computer, or a mess you feel compelled to clean up, will tug at your attention circle. Banish these villains and regain control of your attention by getting out of tempting environments or putting as many distracting items in your environment out of sight or out of reach. Now, even if you go to the extreme and you work in a plain white room with a desk and a chair, you may still find it hard to focus because you have too many open loops in your mind. If you're worried about forgetting a task you need to do, or a person you need to follow up with, or an issue you need to address, you won't be able to settle your attention on your intention unless you capture your to-dos and problems in a place you won't forget them. I've covered specific tactics to capture your to-dos and contain your worries in my Getting Things Done by David Allen summary and How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie summary. Links in the description below. Now, the final factor that may increase the time it takes for you to settle your mind down is how stimulated your mind is going into a focus session. If you've just finished scrolling through social media or a series of news headlines, your mind is primed for novelty and will resist focusing on any one thing the instant it feels bored. Bring yourself down from an overstimulated state to a state of peak attentional control by performing the following pre-focus exercise for at least a minute. Select a tiny point on the wall or on your computer screen, on your body, or in your body, and direct all your attention to that point, like you would direct the rays of sunlight through a magnifying glass to a single point. The smaller the point, the better. Chris Bailey focuses on the tip of his nose. Research has found that focusing on a point 1 inch behind your forehead to be an effective pre-focus point. As you focus your attention on something tiny, your mind will wander like crazy. Every time it wanders, bring it back to the tiny point. You'll find this process annoying and believe the exercise is a complete waste of time. But stick with it for at least a minute, and you'll find that when you transition to focusing on your larger intention, it's much easier to focus. When you overcome external distractors and internal distractors, and calm down an overstimulated mind to get into a hyper-focused state, push yourself to see how long you can sustain that state, but push no longer than 90 minutes. Just as the mind transitions from REM sleep to non-REM deep sleep every 90 minutes to achieve optimal sleep at night, we must transition from hyper-focus to scatter focus at least every 90 minutes to achieve optimal productivity. Scatter focus is what Chris Bailey calls mindful mind wandering. There's a huge difference between mindful and mindless mind wandering. Mindless mind wandering occurs when you catch yourself thinking about the past or future when you don't intend to. It's like when you're having a conversation with someone and realize that you didn't hear a word they just said because your mind was replaying a conflict you had at work earlier. Mindless mind wandering is like a boat drifting off course without anyone on board realizing the boat is off course. Long stretches of mindless mind wandering result in overwhelm and exhaustion. However, if you mindfully mind wander and intentionally let your mind roam free and explore random thoughts while you sit back and watch without judgment, you'll reduce stress and renew your ability to focus. It's like letting your dog off its leash and letting it run around in a forest. After a few minutes, your dog is ready to settle down and listen to your commands. Mindful mind wandering not only restores your ability to focus, it also increases the quality of your focus sessions. Because the creative insights you generate after a 15 to 30 minute mindful mind wandering session allow you to go back into a hyper-focus session with solutions to problems and new strategies to accelerate progress. It's like going back into the hyper-focus arcade game with a power-up that gives you double points. Research shows that the most creative form of mindful mind wandering is done while doing highly habitual tasks that require very little attention, like folding laundry, going for a walk, or doing routine data entry. After this video, create an hourly alarm on your phone that produces a pleasant chime sound. When you hear the chime, check to see if you are unintentionally mind wandering. If you are, take control of your attention. By taking control of your attention and spending most of your day intentionally focused, that is hyper-focused, and intentionally unfocused and mindfully mind wandering, you will finish more important work, resolve more important issues, and make more people in your life feel important. That was the core message that I gathered from Hyperfocus by Chris Bailey. Bailey takes all the latest science on focus and attention and combines it into one easy-to-read book. I highly recommend this book. If you would like a one-page PDF summary of insights that I gathered from this book, just click the link below and I'll be happy to email it to you. If you already subscribe to the free Productivity Game email newsletter, this PDF is sitting in your inbox. If you like this video, please share it. And as always, thanks for watching and have yourself a productive week.